Chapter 9 Strategies for Enhancements in Food Productions. With ever increasing population of the world, enhancement of food production is a major necessity. A biological principles as applied to animal husbandry and plant breeding have a major role in our efforts to increase food production. Several new techniques like embryo transfer technology and tissue culture techniques are going to play a pivotal role in further enhancing food production. 9.1 Animal husbandry. Animal husbandry is the agricultural practice of breeding and raising livestock. As such, it is a vital skill for farmers and is as much science as it is art. Animal husbandry deals with the care and breeding of livestock like buffaloes, cows, pigs, horses, cattle, sheep, camels, goats, etc., that are useful to humans. Extended, it includes poultry farming and fisheries. Fisheries include rearing, catching, selling, etc of fish, mollusks, shellfish, and crustaceans, prawns, crabs, etc. Since times immemorial, animals like bees, silkworm, prawns, crabs, fishes, birds, pigs, cattle, sheep, and camels have been used by humans for products like milk, eggs, meat, wool, silk, honey, etc. It is estimated that more than 70% of the world livestock population is in India and China. However, it is surprising to note that the contribution of the world farm produce is only 25%, that is, the productivity per unit is very low. Hence, in addition to conventional practices of animal breeding and care, newer technologies also have to be applied to achieve improvements in quality and productivity. 9.1.1 Management of Farms and Farm Animals. A professional approach to what have been traditional practices of farm management gives the much needed boost to our food production. Let us discuss some of the management procedures employed in various animal farm systems. Dairy farm management. Dairying is the management of animals for milk and its products for human consumption. Can you list the animals that you would expect to find in a dairy? What are different kinds of products that can be made with milk from a dairy farm? In dairy farm management, we deal with process and systems that increase yield and improve quality of milk. Milk yield is primarily dependent on the quality of breeds in the farm. Selection of good breeds having high-yielding potentials under the climatic condition of the area, combined with resistance to disease, is very important. For the yield potentials to be realized, the cattle have to be well looked after. They have to be housed well, should have adequate waters and be maintained disease-free. The feeding of cattle should be carried out in a scientific manner with special emphasis on the quality and quantity of fodder. Besides stringent cleanliness and hygiene, both of the cattle and the hodlers are of paramount importance while making storage and transport of the milk and its products. Nowadays, of course, much of this process have become mechanized, which reduce chance of direct contact of the produce with a handler. Ensuring these stringent measures would of course require regular inspections with proper record keeping. It would also help to identify and rectify the problems as early as possible. Regular visits by veterinary doctors would be mandatory. You would probably find it interesting if you were to prepare a questionnaire on diverse aspects of dairy keeping and then follow it up with a visit to a dairy farm in your locality and seek answers to the questions. Poultry farm management. Poultry is a class of domesticated fowl used for food or for their eggs. They typically include chicken and ducks, and sometimes turkey and geese. The word poultry is often used to refer to the meat of only these birds, but in more general sense it may refer to the meat of other birds too, as in dairy farming. Selections of disease-free and suitable breeds, proper and safe farm conditions, proper feed and water, and hygiene and healthcare are important components of poultry farm management. You may have seen TV news or read newspaper reports about the bird flu virus, which created a scare in the country and drastically affected egg and chicken consumption. Find out more about it and discuss whether the panic reaction was justified. How can we prevent the spread of the flu in case some chickens are infected? Animal breedings. Breeding of animals is an important aspect of animal husbandry. Animal breeding aims at increasing the yields of animals and improving the desirable qualities of the produce. For what kind of characters would we breed animals? Would the selection of character differs with the choice of animals? What do we understand by the term breed? A group of animals related by descent and similar in most characters, like general appearance, features, size, configuration, etc., are said to belong to a breed. Find out the names of some common breeds of cattle and poultry in the farms of your own area. While breeding between animals of the same breed, it is called inbreedings, while crosses between different breeds are called outbreedings. Inbreeding refers to the mating of more closely related individuals within the same breed for 4 to 6 generations. The breeding strategy is as follows: superiors males and superior females of the same breed are identified and mated in pairs. The progeny often from such matings are evaluated, and superior males and females among them are identified for further mating. As superior females in the case of cattle is a cow or buffalo that produces over milk per lactation. On the other hand, superior male is the bull, which gives rise to superior progeny as compared to those of others. Male. Try to recollect the homozygous pure lines developed by Mendel as discussed in chapter 5. A similar strategy is used for developing pure lines in cattle as was used in case of bees. Inbreeding increases homozygosity. Thus, inbreeding is necessary if we want to evolve a pure line in any animals. Inbreeding exposes harmful recessive genes that are eliminated by selections. It also keeps an accumulation of superior genes and elimination of less desirable genes. Therefore, this approach, where there is a selection at each step, increases the productivity in breed populations. However, continued inbreeding, especially close inbreeding, usually reduces fertility and even productivity. This is called inbreeding depressions. Whenever this becomes a problem, selected animals of the breeding population should be mated with unruly superior animals of the same breed. This usually helps restore fertility and yield. Outbreeding is the breeding of the unrelated animals, which may be between individuals of the same breed but having no common ancestors for 4 to 6 generations. Outcrossings or between different breeds in crossbreedings or different species. Interspecific hybridizations. Outcrossing. This is the practice of mating of animals within the same breed but having no common ancestor on either side of their pedigree. Outcross. It is the best breeding method for animals that are below average in productivity in milk production, growth rate in beef, cattle, etc. A single outcross often helps to overcome inbreeding depressions. crossbreeding. In this method, superior males of one breed are matched with superior females of another breed. Crossbreeding allows the desirable qualities of two different breeds to be combined. Progeny hybrid animals may themselves be used for commercial productions. Alternatively, they may be subjected to some form of inbreeding and selection to develop new stable breed that may be superior to the existing breed. Many new animals breed have been developed by this approach. Historidales is a new breed of sheep developed in Punjab by crossings Bikaneri Ewes and Merino rams into a specific hybridization. In this method, male and female animals of two different related species are mated. In some cases, the progeny may combine desirable features of both the parents and may be of considerable economic value. Example, the mules. Do you know what cross leads to the production of the mules? Controlled breeding experiments are carried out using artificial inseminations. The semen is collected from the males and tracked of the selected females by the breeder. The semen may be used immediately or can be frozen and used at a later date. It can also be transported in a frozen forms to where female is housed. In this way, desirable matings are carried. Artificial insemination helps us overcome several problems of normal matings. Can you discuss and list some of them? Often, the success rate of cross-mature males and female animals is fairly low, even though artificial insemination is carried out. To improve chances of successful production of hybrids, other means are also used. Multiples ovulations embryo transfer technology (MOET) is one such program for Hodge improvements. In this method, a cow is administered hormones with FSH-like activity to introduce follicular maturations and superovulation. Instead of one egg, which they normally yield per cycle, they produce 6 to 8 eggs. The animals is either mated with a live wool or artificially inseminated. The fertilized eggs at 8 to 32 cell stages are recovered non-surgically and transferred to surrogate mothers. The genetic mothers is available for another round of superovulations. This technology has been demonstrated for cattle, sheep, rabbits, buffaloes, mares, etc. High milk yielding breeds of females and high quality lean meats with less lipid. Meat yielding bulls have bred successfully to increase herd size in short times. 9.1.3 Beekeeping. Beekeeping or apiculture is the maintenance of hives of honeybee for the production of honey. It has been an age-old cottage industry. Honey is a food of high nutritive value and also finds use in the indigenous systems of medicine. Honeybee also produces beeswax, which finds many uses in industry, such as in preparation of cosmetics and polishes of various kinds. The increased demand of honey has led to large-scale beekeeping practices. It has become an established income-generating industry, whether practiced on a small or on a large scale. Beekeeping can be practiced in any area where there are sufficient bee pastures of some wild shrubs, fruits, orchards, and cultivated crops. There are several species of honeybee which can be reared. Of course, of these the most common species is Apis indica. Beehives can be kept in one's courtyard, on the veranda of the house, or even on roof. Beekeeping is not labor intensive. Beekeeping, though relatively easy, does require some specialized knowledge, and there are several organizations that teach beekeeping. The following points are important for successful beekeeping. First, knowledge of the natures and habits of bees. Second, selection of suitable location for beekeeping, the beehives, catching and hiving of swarms, group of bees, management of beehives during different seasons, and handling and collection of honey and beeswax. Bees are pollinators of many of our crop species, such as sunflowers, brassica, apples, and pears. Keeping beehives in crop fields during flowering period increases pollination efficiency and improves the yield, beneficial both from the point of view of crop yields and honey yield. Fisheries. Fishery is an industry devoted to the catching process or shelling of fish, shellfish, or other aquatic animals. A large number of our population is dependent on fish, fish produce, and other aquatic animals such as prawn, crab, lobster, edible oyster, etc. for food. Some of the freshwater fishes which are very common include catla, rohu, common sharks. Some of the marine fishes that are eaten include hilsa, sardines, mackerels, and pomfrets. Find out what fishes are commonly eaten in your area. Fisheries had an important place in Indian economy. It provides incomes and employments to millions of fishermen and farmers, particularly in the coastal states. For many, it is the only source of their livelihood. In order to meet increasing demands on fisheries, different techniques have been employed to increase production, for example, through aquaculture and pisciculture. We have been able to increase the production of aquatic plants and animals, both freshwaters and marines. Find out the difference between piscicultures and aquacultures. This has led to the development and flourishing of the fishery industry, and it had brought a lot of incomes to the farmers in particular and the country in general. We now talk about blue revolutions as being implanted along the same lines as green revolutions.